We have done a lot of stories over the years about shonky builders in Australia. We had another one out of Perth this week. But here's a twist. How about a builder whose clients love his work, who has future orders up his sleeve, but he's been deregistered by a bloody-minded builders registration board? His crime, apparently, as Janine Hosking reports, he used a beautiful wood in Queensland that is used universally.
I mean, it's a case of survival, isn't it? I don't want to give away my whole life's work.
For 15 years, builder John Payton has been the craftsman of these wonderful timber houses. John is one of those rare builders who prides himself that the houses he builds are more like works of art. The native New Zealander was in demand, but that was until March this year. In March, he was banned from building. For 9 months, John and 2 employees had devoted all their time to constructing this magnificent home on the outskirts of Brisbane at Mount Mee. Homeowners Tina and David Crowley were more than happy with John's work. David, why did you choose John to build your home?
Well, he was recommended to us by our architect or draftsman, and after looking at what he'd done to another house we inspected, we thought he was the best man for the job.
When builder John Payton finished this house, he saw it as a magnificent showpiece to show other prospective clients just what he was capable of building. Little did he know that further down the track, he'd be accused of building a home that was an example of poor workmanship.
The last inspector told me, he complimented me highly on my tradesmanship and the method of building, and the finished product, he said, was first class.
But despite the compliments and an impeccable track record, the registration board said that John had lost his restricted builder's licence because he had used Oregon timber on the exterior of the home. Unbeknown to John, the Forestry Commission in Queensland has recommended that Oregon should not be exposed to outside weather conditions. It must be stressed that the warning against Oregon is purely just that, a warning, not a law or a ruling. But when the registration board saw that John had used the timber in the underside of the outside decking, he lost his licence.
I wasn't even aware that there was any fault or question about the timber. I did stain it all and coat it all with a water protective stain before I put it into place.
Had you used exposed Oregon before on other buildings?
Yes, and the registration boards checked them as well. Just been stamped and approved by the council, which to me is the guidelines to go ahead with your construction. The registration board came out at one stage, a guy called Douglas Dance. He told me there was a problem with the Oregon on the decking. He went away. He came back about a week later and said to me, we don't know everything about the use of Oregon. Proceed.
Our visit to the home coincided with a further inspection being carried out by the Builders Registration Board.
I have come out here, as directed, to look at the work and to find out what needs to be done, if anything, what needs to be done. So
you take away a builder's licence, a builder that's had no complaints whatsoever, and now you check?
You see, I simply am not prepared to comment.
However, an independent structural engineer, Frank Vanderwood, had this to say about John's work.
As far as workmanship on finish is concerned, the builder has always been meticulous with attention to detail, second to none.
I've just sacked 2 people last week. One of them's been working with me for 2.5 years. They're both family people, and it hurts me a great deal to have to lay them off. But the only reason I had to lay them off is because I'm no longer allowed to build.
John says that he has $1 million worth of work just waiting for him, but unless he gets his licence back, his career's over.
And it doesn't worry them in the least. If they're taking away people's livelihoods or whatever, it doesn't really seem to bother them.
Maybe you should have used fibro or brick veneer and kept the bureaucrats happy. The Royal Flying Doctor Service is about as Australian as Vegemite or Violet Crumble bars. Over the past 60 years, it has literally spread its wings and now covers more than 85% of the country.